Mr. President, hurricane season ends November 30th, 2 months left to go. Last week marked the first anniversary of Hurricane Helene, and I see from reports that the area of North Carolina most affected is still terribly affected. It was such a severe storm that people in Louisiana went from Louisiana to help North Carolina and other states with their emergency operations on the ground. This weekend saw 2 Category 4 storms churning in the western Atlantic. Thankfully, they did not hit, or they do not appear they'll hit our coast. Still, the storms remind people in Louisiana and other states that flooding is not a matter of if, but rather when. Now, Democrats, as we know, are pushing us towards a government shutdown. What does that mean for the National Flood Insurance Program? Imagine you're about to close on a house in 2 days, and the bank requires you to have flood insurance. If you're in a special flood hazard area, by the way, over half of Louisiana is a special flood hazard area, and you're purchasing a house with help from a federally backed loan, you will not be closing on that house, nor will you be able to renew your existing policy. All because Democrats have rejected a clean, continuing resolution to keep the government open. Let me repeat. They are walking away from a bill that simply extends the existing budget for 7 weeks to allow further negotiation. Instead, they demand a highly partisan bill which would add more than $1 trillion to our nation's debt. They want taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants, transgender surgery for minors, and to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund Republicans created as part of our Working Families Tax Cuts bill. Now, back to flood insurance, Americans are left wondering how a shutdown will affect it. While Democrats are writing checks to the far left, folks are wondering if they can close on their house. Now, I'll tell you what the American people care about. They want the government to do its job. They want disaster recovery when needed. They want flood insurance that works. They want rural hospitals to stay open. They want energy security and a balanced budget, not trillion-dollar add-ons that only serve a political agenda. Mr. President, the American people deserve accountability. They expect Congress to put their needs before partisan politics. If this shutdown happens, it means that the National Flood Insurance Program cannot renew policies. That's 500,000 people in Louisiana, millions across the country, unable to renew policies while we're still in hurricane season. It'll mean delays in disaster aid and emergency response coordination. It means uncertainty for families still recovering from Hurricane Helene and other past storms. Now, this is personal for folks in my state. If Democrats would stop trying to please the fringe of their party and start focusing on the real immediate needs of the American people, like keeping the government open, maintaining flood insurance, protecting access to rural health care, we can solve this today. So I ask my fellow senators who are Democrats, who are you working for? Are you working for the American families watching the weather, hoping the next storm doesn't wipe out everything they built? Are you working for veterans waiting on care, the seniors relying on Social Security checks, or the communities who count on rural hospitals in a crisis? Or are you working for political activists and special interest groups that have nothing to do with the lives of the people you were elected to serve? Mr. President, the path forward is simple. Pass a clean bill to keep the government open.